Okay, guys and gals, in this particular video, we're going to talk about setting up Reaper so we can record our inputs into our mixer, go through the mixer, go through the card, go into our DAW, which is, in our case, is going to be Reaper. So let's go set it up. So here we are in Reaper, and if you remember in the previous video, we talked about actually installing the driver for your USB card. And in Reaper, we're simply going to hit Control T. And as you can see, that adds a track into the program. Now, if you're just using the compact, the producer, the rack, and you only need 16 inputs, then you're going to do this 15 more times. Control T. Now we have a total of 16 tracks. At this point, I'm going to come up to File, come down to Project Templates, Save Project as Template. I'm simply going to call this X32 Rack. Now, as you can see, I have some up here, X32 Rack plus my two S16s. So I've already got this templates set up for Reaper. And then we just hit Save. So now that is my template. This is a project we're in right now, but this right here, this is my template. So now that we have our project template, you can see that we have outs here. And we don't want these outs. We want these ins and outs to come into this particular channel. So we're simply going to delete this. Again, it's the out 1 and 2 right here. We can right mouse click it. We can remove it here. We can left mouse click it. We can delete it. Now we're going to come up to where it says View, Routing Matrix. Now, as you can see, we don't have any options here. Not really. It's just showing us that all these inputs are coming in through input number 1. Now, the reason we don't have any options is because right up here, this is our ASIO file. This is the driver that we installed for our mixer. Now, we have to be connected to our mixer in order for us to see this driver. So we come up to ASIO, and right there it is. That is my X Live ASIO driver. This now gives me from 1 to 32 inputs, as well as 1 to 32 outputs. Now, don't get these outputs confused with the outputs on your mixer. This is simply audio coming from channel 1 from the mixer, coming into Reaper, going out of Reaper back into channel 1 into the mixer. Okay? I know it sounds like a mouthful, but it's not. We come back up to View again. We're going to go to our routing matrix, and now look what we have. You see, now this is opened up to us. So we're going to come here diagonally, and we're going to change these right here. Now, let's look at our inputs right here. You see, if we come up here and look now, it'll show you input 1 is we've selected input 1. On input 2, we've selected input 2. Okay? We're just doing it in the matrix to set it up a whole lot faster. And it'll be more evident when we get ready to do the outs. So again, we just keep coming down. Now again, this is the same thing if you were going to be setting up 32 channels or 32 tracks, then this would not stop at 16. It would keep going. It would go all the way down to 32, and you would set those up the same way. Now on our outputs, this is where a lot of people make a mistake. You cannot pick the first block. If you notice, that goes all the way over to the left, and that is your master output here. We're going to right mouse click this, and we're going to remove it. The outputs are what we want. We have several options here. We don't want the master output. We don't want the stereo outs. We want to where it says starts with output number 1. We told it we want 16 inputs, and we're going to have 16 outputs. So we skip the first block, and we do the exact same thing. We come down diagonally. Now, once we've done that, when we click off this matrix, this routing matrix, You see all our outputs now? So we've now assigned output 1 to input 1, and we've done this all the way between 1 and 16. Again, if you're using the full-size console or you're using a stage box, this is the exact same process. So now that we've set up Reaper, I can now come to channel 1, arm it to record, and there is my input signal. Now this input signal in Reaper is set by the input gain we assign to this microphone in X32 Edit. So if I come up here and I hit the record button, as you can see, that is now my WAV file being laid down inside of Reaper. And this is the first steps of doing a virtual sound check. At this point, I'm going to save this file. I'm going to take this off right here, and we're just going to loop this. I'm going to hit play, or I'm going to loop it here. I'm going to hit play. And now we're going to go listen to this through the X32 rack mixer. Now back in X32 Edit, guys, we come back up to routing, and instead of being on record, we're going to click on play. And I'm going to be silent. That's the signal now coming in that we just recorded in Reaper. You can see that is now my WAV file being laid down inside of Reaper. And this is the first steps of doing a virtual sound. Okay? And again, when you set it up properly, I've done this hundreds of times, guys. It goes just this easy. All right? Take care. God bless. And we are out of here.